All right, guys, so this next segment, we are going to show you how to break down a deer hindquarter for jerky or roast, whichever you prefer. So we have just one side here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Seth made a cut right here. He went ahead and cut that tendon. And then you could get your bone knife out here. However, this one has some really soft cartilage that attaches this knee joint. So he just went ahead and he used a little bit of downward pressure and he worked his knife right through there, which is something that you can learn pretty quickly. That one's a pretty easy one to learn.
Next step, we're gonna go ahead and make a cut down along this big femur bone that runs on the inside of this hindquarter. Take the tip of your knife and just run right down along the bone, working it right out of these muscles. So once we have the bones removed, we have 100% boneless chunk of meat. And in this hindquarter, there are 3 different muscle structures located inside here, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to remove those 3. First of all, we have what we refer to as the round tip. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out. And this isn't necessarily included in one of those 3. Although it can be used for jerky, makes a beautiful roast. In my opinion, if you're gonna save a roast off of a deer, that one right there is the best. So once you get that muscle removed, that's the round tip, we'll go ahead and start on these 3 muscle pieces located in this hindquarter. Everything separates very easily by a seam. I mean, I could actually take my finger and separate that with my finger. So go ahead, just follow the seam. We have a top round. Gonna go ahead and pull this little piece out right here that had the shank attached to it. We have the eye of round. Located right here between the eye of round and the bottom round, there's a little chunk of fat. And this is where I want to talk about a step that's very important. Inside this little chunk of fat, there's a gland. As you can see right there, I went ahead and cut into it. There's a gland located there. You definitely want to remove that gland out of the inside of that hindquarter. That can give your meat almost a bitter, kind of a foul taste. So watch out for that one. Get it removed. Get it out of there. You definitely don't want that in. So what we have here is that round tip. We have a top round, eye of round, and a bottom round. So what we'll do now is we will continue trimming these out, removing the exterior fat, and prepping these for jerky. As you can see here again, this outer piece comes off real easily. Remove all the fat. And if you look at this top round piece, you can see that the muscle fibers are running this direction. So what you want to do is cut against the grain like this. And you want to cut these about 1 inch to 1.25 inches thick slices that you can take, come back to these, take that slice and just cut them like this into whatever thickness of jerky you would like. And if you look at these pieces, real close, the muscle fibers are going this way, so that when you go to eat this and you go to chew it, these pieces pull apart and makes for a very good, pleasant eating experience.
As Seth's breaking that down, I've just been working through the trimmings here. And as mentioned earlier, if I were saving bones for broth, this is where I would start making some choices. These are the marrow bones. A lot of people will roast these in your oven before you make a marrow or stew. And then one of the other things that we like to do is the ends of these, sort of where these connect to the tendon, we'll go ahead and remove those. Those are got some real hard cartilage. We'll remove those from the trimmings. You can add that into your bone broth if you're making that, or just simply discard them. The sirloin piece that came off the round here is a great piece for stew. That's one of the things that you can use for stew that's going to make a really tender stew or a stir fry that you can pre-cut, or you can simply save it as a roast. Seth mentioned this this round tip or this sirloin tip. Once again, makes a really beautiful roast. Or here's where you can make a choice. We often are seeking out the pieces that are free of any intermuscular connective tissue for our jerky. So that's a reason why roasts like so oftentimes we'll find does have a bit more of the inner sinews, so we'll save it as a roast and not for the jerky. However, it does make some fine jerky if you want to take the time. And so what I'll do with this sirloin here is I just sort of cut it, all the connective tissues off the outside, and then go ahead and cut that into cubes of about 1 inch. And that seems to make a really nice size, and you can package that up separately and make yourself a really nice, use it even for like steak tips and noodles, or you can just make a really nice stew meat out of something like that we found from the sirloin. So that pretty much completes our processing of the round. We've got the extra trimmings that have come off of it. We've got our little bit of stew meat. We've got a beautiful sirloin tip or round tip roast. And then Seth's working on cutting some really nice whole muscle jerky that we're going to season up with our Bearded Butcher blend. And you can use various methods of dehydration, smoking. You can even use your oven at home to make that into some wonderful jerky.
Absolutely. And then a lot of people want to know where the jerky actually best parts that, you know, where they come from off the deer. The round for sure is the best part for jerky. You can get a little bit out of the shoulder if you wish. So yeah, just remember the biggest thing when you're cutting this, cut it so that you end up with a piece that the grains are going this way. You'll enjoy that a lot more. As far as the amount of jerky we're gonna get off this deer, a deer this size, we're probably gonna get somewhere in that 15-pound range by the time we get this all trimmed out. We only want the best strips for jerky, so you're looking at about 15 pounds, and that's start weight. So you start with 15 pounds, and it's gonna reduce by about 50% by the time we get done smoking it. So in the end, you're looking at that 7 to 8 pounds of eating meat that's finished jerky.